the principles. So the first principle was alignment with Srila Prabhupada's teachings, to understand how Prabhupada wants us to practice spiritual life in Grhstha ashram. And the second point is spiritual growth and progress. Third is spiritual equality of gifts. Fourth is positive and realistic vision. Fifth is mutual respect and appreciation. Sixth, commitment and dedication. Seventh point is open and honest communication. 8 is personal and social responsibility. 9, economic development and prosperity. 10, focus on children's welfare. 11, family life and affection. And 12, regulated, balanced and exemplary lifestyle. So the principles of conscious family life, as described in this book, Heart and Soul Connection, which is a very important book for Grhstha, by the Grhstha Vision team, and they've spent many years researching and coming up with all the principles for Krishna conscious family life. And I wanted to go on to another main principle in Grhstha life is parenting. So there's different types of parenting, and generally what happens is in parented in a certain way, then we will also bring our children up in that sort of style of parenting, because that's all we know. So the first one is it's called authoritarian, brick wall type of parenting, where there's high in rules and limits, but there's not so much love and affection for the child. It's more like just discipline. And so there's low responsiveness, inflexible with the rules. So it's more or less, parenting is like, it's my way or the highway. This is the kind of parenting. So that's the attitude, is my way or the highway. So it's punish rather than discipline. So it's like, either you do it or you will get punished. This is like a brick wall type of parenting, where there's no like so much love and affection, but more like rules and regulations and discipline. And the results are the children are likely to be conscientious, obedient and quiet, so they will listen and obey the parents, but they're not going to be very happy. And they're more likely to be depressed or feel guilty, self-blaming, rebel. So this is the result of the style of parenting where we just want to become the authority, and we don't want to really, there's no flexibility, there's only structure. So this is results in not such a good parenting. But then you have the indulgent, it's called jellyfish. So the brick wall is the structure, and the indulgent jellyfish is just, there's no backbone, it's just jelly, it's just like, so there's two different types of permissive parenting. There's indulgent jellyfish, so there's low in rules and limits, high in warmth and affection, high in responsiveness, few or no rules. And the result is allow kids to do whatever they want. So any time in the day and night, let kids do whatever they want, and gives easily to their demands, whatever they want. The child gets whatever they want. Little or no structure, little or no consequence to teach. And the result is you get a spoiled child. So this is also not good. You don't teach the children right from wrong, just let them do whatever they want, whenever they want. So this is not very good. And the result is that children are likely to be even less happy and lack self-control. lack self-control, especially within the give and take of peer friendships. So they won't learn social skills. They won't be happy. They're inadequate emotional regulation. So these will, they will be less happy than the authoritarian style of parenting, and they won't have much less self-control. So they will just do whatever they want, whenever they want, and they won't be very happy with this. So that's also not very good parenting. So then you have the neglectful jellyfish. So you've got the indulgent jellyfish where parents let them do whatever they want because they have to show so much an affection for the child and let them do whatever they want, so they spoil the child. But then there's also the neglectful jellyfish where parents, they don't care, they let them do whatever they want because they don't care really. So in this way, there's low limits, warm section, low responsiveness, few or no rules, and allow kids to do whatever they want, doesn't pay attention to the requests and demands, little or no structure, little or no consequence to teach children right from wrong. So you get a wild child, so that child will have to become delinquency, this truancy, and children are likely to be even less happy and lack self-control, especially within the give and take of peer friendships, the inadequate emotional regulation. So we can see that these children are likely to be even less happy than the one where they're allowed to do whatever they want, but at least the parents care for the child in some way. They have some love and affection. In this one, they don't really care. So the child grows up like this. So that's also not very good. So the best is the backbone, authoritative, where there's structure and there's also flexibility, like a backbone. So you have both. So you set appropriate limits, adjust to time, place, and circumstance. You're high in warmth and affection, so you show a lot of love and affection to your child. High in responsiveness, you respond to their needs, and flexible with the rules. Encourage participation from children. They always say get their say, although they may not get their way. So you hear the child, you listen to the child with empathy, you try to help them understand things in a very kind of mature way. Dealings with children are marked with a balance of firmness, kindness, affection, and reasonable expectations. Well-behaved and confident child. So this child will become well-behaved, confident, successful, because there's some discipline and there's also some flexibility. So the child grows up with both. It's a balanced paradigm. So in this way, the child becomes more, has a proper upbringing. So this is actually a big difficulty, a challenge for parents to actually bring up the child with discipline, at the same time love and affection, so they're not, spoiling the child and not being too authoritative. So has anybody got any to discuss on this, because this is a big topic for parents and they have their challenges. How do we discipline the child without forcing them, and this is a happy one. Oh yeah, there's another part. So children are likely to be successful, articulate, intelligent, happy with themselves, and generous with others, tend to be liked by teachers. And doesn't come up with anything. So these children will be successful and happy and liked by everyone, liked by the teachers, liked by parents, liked by children.
Which is where you have children of all different ages, then all the children progress much more rapidly. The ones that are older, they learn to help the younger ones. The younger ones, also for them, it gives them confidence if friends that are older than them, and if they're also friendly with adults, then that helps the child to develop much more quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's many points in this book like that, and one of the points is that children generally are interested in helping out with, household tasks, something responsible. They actually like that even when they're young. So we need to give them that. It's to help build their self-esteem, and it allows them to, take up some responsibility that helps them to have confidence, So you can get them to do different chores like help with shopping, help with cooking, cleaning the house, mowing the lawn, helping in the garden, doing some laundry, just so that they feel like they're useful. And I remember I used to, all of us, we used to help in our mother's shop, my father's shop, getting the stock ready and seeing to the customers and, packing the things. So it's like, it's very, it's inspiring. The children are inspired because they feel that they're doing something adult, adult work, so it makes them feel more confident. And especially with teenagers, they need to feel that they're valued, so they can start earning money or open a bank account, or check the oil and water in the car, maybe ask if they can drive the car, learn how to drive a car, become a leader in an organization or something. So it helps the teenagers become more like confident and build their self-esteem. And because a lot of the main complaint from teenagers is the parents don't listen to them. That's the main complaint from teenagers. So parents need to practice like communication skills, techniques, and reflective listening, and reflective speaking with children, so that they can understand what the children's needs are, and see how they can be flexible with what their needs are. It's not always the case that they can be fulfilled, but at least if you listen to them, then there's a chance that at least they've been heard, and that actually pacifies them. But if you don't listen to the children, then they just feel like they're neglected, or they're not wanted, or they're not, Has anybody got any points to add to that? Yes, Will.
I don't have a point to add, but how to raise a child, spiritual child, like in Vrindavan nowadays. There's this very small guy called Bhagavad. He's very spiritual in Krishna consciousness, very advanced than a lot of other senior devotees.
What's the question?
So how to raise your child since childhood in alignment with spirituality, so that he takes that up?
Well, we have to be spiritual ourselves. We have to start in ourselves. So if we build our spiritual life with chanting and hearing, then the child will just naturally see us doing that, and they will like become attracted to doing our interest, show them interest. So it really depends on the parents. So we have to build our own spiritual life up. That will help inspire the child. But if we're not practicing it ourselves, we're trying to force ourselves to be spiritual when we're not spiritual, it's not going to work. So
how to bring a spiritual soul in the womb of the mother, so that
Grhstha, that's what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. So we have to chant, we have to pray, we have to build our spiritual life so that we can attract a soul to take up the life. If it's our desire, it's our goal, then that will happen. Yeah. Hope that answers the question. Yeah,
In the Gaudam Samskara, there's a whole preparation before conception as well. 50 rounds, or even the diet. And, it's like a really scientific. So that it's an auspicious soul that takes birth in the womb, you know.
Yeah, so maybe you can read that book, the Sanskar book.
Yeah.
It has all this. Maybe some others can let you know because they've probably done all this.
Yeah, I was hearing a lecture a long time back, and they described that if the lady is pregnant, I mean the mother is pregnant, and at the time, I mean if it's, if you have not gone through the sanskaras properly, generally we miss in Kali Yuga to do all those sanskaras. However, if the lady is pregnant, then she can continue hearing Bhagavad and Krishna. And when we go out for festival, whenever we see any lady is pregnant, we say, the Krishna book is actually to be read every single day while pregnancy. So the child within the womb actually can nourish, and we give the example of Prahlad Maharaj as well. So that's another way. If we have not gone through the whole process of Pradhan Sanskara, just by hearing the 9 months, hearing Bhagavad every single day or reading, sometimes happens, my wife struggles to read, and because she was not very well, kind of, and vomiting and all this continues for a long time. So if she can't read properly or take something, she can actually listen to. So that's also benefits the child.
Yeah, to hear from Prabhupada's and senior Vaishnavas.
Yeah, so most importantly, hearing from Parampara, this Prabhupada always says. So hearing from Parampara and the right thing, right attitude, and then the child gets it. Even if we see the examples of Prahlad Maharaj, the mother was asleep, but the womb is hearing, and that happened the same as well. So
there's so many ways that we can actually help the child in the womb, before and after, like, hearing, reading, reciting Bhagavatam, and chanting, all these things.
one more example, we know Amrinder Prabhu. He is quite young, but very learned and live it. So a question being asked him as well, that could you please share about your upbringing? And then he made very nice points. So they said that my dad go for earning money, and then my mother was our teacher at home. So see, my dad says, I'll go out to earn money, but you need to take care of the children now. So it's your responsibility very well. And then again, he added, my father used to go out for work, but every single Sunday we used to be in temple, the whole Sunday program. And my mom used to say that you should be, asking at least one question after hearing Bhagavatam. So the point is that he was mentioning that, if you ask a question, it means you have to hear properly. Else you can't ask a question. So you're sitting in front, and even if you're sitting in front, if you don't hear, you can't ask question. So that's how I said I was hearing the class just to pacify my mother to ask a question, and she had a condition that if you ask a question, not only you are going to get a fist, otherwise very minimum and go back home. Then other thing he was sharing is like when he was young, not child, no, it's young now, in teenagers basically, and they had a good practice to sleep early. And when he used to go to sleep early, he used to have a small tape where no one could see his parents. So he would underneath of a pillow and sleep, but he's hearing a class from Maharaj, especially Govind Maharaj about. So the upbringing from the childhood anyway were devotees, so they have must gone through those, hearing and chanting the Lord's name every time when his mother was pregnant. But eventually, when he grew up as well, he started hearing those. So test is also there. And as today in the morning, Prabhupada was sharing as well. Oh no, yesterday, that we can't be assured that our child, though we are devotee, our child become a devotee, because we haven't practiced Krishna consciousness for 30 years. Now we are chanting, so we can't enforce our child to chant. But otherwise, if we as a parent put, then it will impact child's. So it's my personal realization, like, so when we come to Sunday program every time here, and no one is here around on Sunday, especially in the evening time. And I see my kids here, they used to do practice on kirtan and mridanga, and within the, she has not gotten any teaching, but she is playing mridanga kirtan very nice, just is by association and giving time in temple. So even my Guru Maharaj also said that as a Grhstha, for a couple of days, we started painting it again with the pencil things. So it's okay, we can teach her. At the same time, the point come to the same point. Making them discipline is we need to be disciplined our own self. The kids are kids anyway. So
Yeah, there's a nice point in this book. It's stating that Prabhupada said that till 5 years old, from 0 to 5, the children, we don't have to just let them play, let them, explore, because that's the time when they want to do that. So we don't discipline them at time. 5 years old and after, we have to discipline. We have to set the rules and help them to understand the rules are necessary. And it says here, Prabhupada says, up to 5 years, the child is given full liberty. Whatever he likes, he may do. It is said that you can give liberty to the child only for 5 years. Only for 5 years. And as soon as he's on the 5th year, you must be very strict on the child so that he may not be spoiled. Very strict. Simply engage him in proper education. And as soon as he's on the 16th year, the boy should be treated as friend. So from 16th year to 25th year, higher education. And after higher education, family life. This is Prabhupada's idea. So, when there's toddlers and they can, you don't discipline them so much. But from 5 years old onward, there has to be some discipline, otherwise they become wild. They will not be able to be brought up properly. And Prabhupada, that was the lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said that. Any other ideas?
So the same point you read here, I'm not sure. It's knowingly or unknowingly, my dad did the same thing with me. So even even just before getting married, I could remember my father is strict time I was in 15, 16. Still, with a lot of respect towards him, but still I can't speak toward, I can't face to face, nothing over there. So till 5, it was all good, but from there I was very, very strict to him, to me. And even I could realize now, even if I think of doing some mistakes, I remind, okay, I need to answer my father. So the point is, if I'm doing some mistake, it means somehow my father is to get no. When you were kids, someone was going to say, okay, your son was doing something like that. So he used to know from here and there, okay, this thing, and we used to get beaten nicely in India. So that fear was still there, and it still continues actually. So that saves us doing some, sinful activity as well.
Yeah, yeah, but then it's not a very good idea. Like spanking children or beating them is not a good, because that will it's counterproductive. The child will grow up in a certain mentality, and it's kind of not good for the child. Like can affect its mental health or physical health. So best way is to try to work, like work with words rather than spanking, because that's not so good. But it's a difficult thing for parents, because it's quite frustrating, So if the child doesn't listen, then we resort to spanking, but it's not the best way of bringing up a child. So there has to be some sort of understanding, and we have to understand the child's mindset, and maybe help the child understand, what's good and what's bad, one way or another, to help them.
It's getting now. It's decreased. Only twice. Only twice was a bone trouble.
Yes, oh yeah.
Their confidence and self-esteem go very low. Like when we see them outside world, when they go, they won't stand up. They won't stand up for themselves. So as parents, as you mentioned, we have to be very caring and sit and talk to them, listen to them, spend time with them, show love and care, so that they feel protected, and they share each and everything that's they are going outside world. Like every day they go to school, for example, they are spending time with other children and all. So if we are very friendly with them, and also at the same time we have to chastise when they are doing something wrong, but we have to be very, very tolerant and patient. For that, Krishna should help us. Krishna consciousness will help us, and then maybe that will also help really, and make them share what's going on outside to us every day, like before going to bed, what went wrong, anything you want us to help you, like that. Opening up is really helpful, Mataji.
Yeah, that's really important. That we have to give them some sort of build their self-esteem. Otherwise, they will not have confidence. And if we're just chastising them all the time, it will just weaken them more and more, and they won't be able to feel happy. They won't be happy, and they won't have the self-esteem. Because it says here that the one with the different result. I don't know if it's. Oh yeah, that is on this. Yeah. So so the results for the. So the first one is, if we're just very strict with them, but there's no love action, then the children, they'll be quiet and obedient, but they won't be happy, and they'll feel guilty and self-blaming, And then we have the children who are just let to do whatever they want, whenever they want. They're going to be less happy, because they won't have any self-control, and they won't be any regulated lifestyle. impact on how we parent our children. So how we were brought up by our parents will affect how we bring up our children. So it says, take time to reflect on parenting you received and how it is affecting your interaction with your children. So just see how that's affecting your children. So I went through this 3 skills of healthy family life, healthy family. So I'll just go over them again. So there's 3 skills of healthy families. So one is families cooperate, things done, so that family members meet their needs. Healthy families realize that teamwork makes the dream work. So there's a cooperation between the children and the parents. And the second one is healthy families speak respectfully to express feelings, desires, and concerns. So this is very important. There has to be some respect. The children have to have respect to the parents, and the parents also have to speak with respect to the children. Otherwise, there will be lack of respect, and that's lack of respect will ruin all relationships in the family. And the third one is healthy families listen carefully to understand. So there needs to be this empathic listening to the needs of the children, what they're actually expressing. They may not get the way, but you have to at least listen to them, listen to what they have to say. And the 3 passions found in healthy families. The first one is, in healthy families, adults are in charge. The children are not in charge, the adults are in charge. At least one adult is providing leadership at all times. So there needs to be one adult, at least one adult looking after everything overall. The second one, healthy, there's room to be close and apart. Each family member is free to get close to and is separate from each other. So there needs to be this, not this overwhelming, like, wrap them in cotton wool sort of thing. There needs to be some room to be close, but also give them space to grow and learn for themselves. And the third one is healthy families expect to change. Healthy families expect that they will go through changes and grow and life events happen. Expect that change is part of the life cycle of a family and to be flexible as it unfolds. So we have to be realistic that things are not going to always stay the same. The children are going to grow up. They're going to have their desires. They're going to have a different type of karma than maybe us. So they may have different desires, to live in a different way. So we have to expect changes in the family life. Healthy families have a spiritual foundation and live according to principles including truthfulness, cleanliness, compassion, self-discipline, and service to others. So this is the spiritual foundation of family life. And what are the duties of parents? I'll go through the 6 again. One is to help their children have a healthy sense of self. 2, to teach their children right from guiding and disciplining. To set examples for the children on how to interact with others. 4, to provide for the physical, emotional, social, intellectual, and spiritual needs of their children. 5, to create and maintain a secure family life. And 6, to protect their children from harm. So there's so much the duties of a parent, the responsibility of the parent is to help with the physical, emotional needs of the child, intellectual, spiritual needs in all ways, So it's very, very challenging for parents to provide everything for the child, So it's, it says, there's an Indian saying, it says, according to an Indian saying, raising children is like packing a trunk. What you put in first comes out last. In other words, anything you give them in the early years will all be there for them. So whatever we put in first in the early years of their training will come out in the end, no matter what they go through. So it's, I need to finish soon. So yes,
Agreeing with you, Prabhupada. I don't mean it isn't like that at all. Just what you were saying about what we instill in the kids in their young years, and all of a sudden we're like, no, you can't do that. Don't do that, but do this. I don't know, I'm just wondering devotees' thoughts on all of a sudden one day they're under 5 and we're not telling them right from wrong. They're getting to do whatever they want, and then the next day we are telling them that they can and can't do things. You know what I mean? So how parents work around that? The child will all of a sudden be like, "Whoa, what's going on here? My parents are different because it was my birthday yesterday."
Any parents got any ideas?
In India, traveling, and then one elderly person was there. He made a very good point. Actually, I still remember the point. He said that the same point. Look, when the child is kind of 2 years, 3 years, and he's trying to make something like maybe in a very early year when he's trying to walk, we appreciate, wow, you're walking, and he pulls something when we play. Okay, he comes to the lap of his father and he pulls a hair. We appreciate it, and the same action when the child is in fear, we start saying, oh, don't do it. And that's a good thing. In one point is because the child was 1 year, 2 years, he's playing with you, and he can't understand at the time. Now he's grown, so his capacity is increasing to understand what is wrong and what is right. So asking him that at 5 years or 7 years, don't pull my hair, pains me. It's giving an information to him. It's not a playground, right? But when you were a child, you can't pull that strong. But now you're pulling, it's paining me. And now I didn't say you earlier because you can't understand those. Now you are actually able to understand what it is. So that's the way it can come up as well, right? And then it's a good point actually. It was somewhere at whom he was just a plain talk, and then he says it's also appreciate even they are 5 years pulling. Okay, okay, that's done. Playing done, finished, and then kind of go on as well. So it's both way, plus and minus as well. We can teach saying that you're pulling my hair, it's paining me now. At the same time, we can have some nice talk and then go.
One story as well. A young child, and she smashed a vase. The vase was really expensive, and she was playing around, and she broke it. And she immediately ran to her mother, and she told her, "I've just smashed the vase. It was worth thousands of pounds." And the mother just gave her a big hug. And she says, "Why are you hugging me?" She says, "Because you were honest, and that's more valuable than the vase." So in non-violent communication, like Balish was saying, that you look more to, you say to the child, "Don't do this because it's not because I'm going to hit you, but because it's causing me pain. And I have these needs and I have these feelings, and I want you to honor them, So then like if the child's being violent and you go and slap the child, that just tells the child that violence is the way to get things. So if you want to teach a child that violence doesn't work when the child is violent, then instead of slapping the child, you sit down and say, "That wasn't so nice because the person, you just put him in pain. What do you think that would be like if you felt?" Then the child can become more mature and start thinking about people's feelings and their needs rather than just his own,
Yes, so because the child's intelligence is growing day by day, like especially after 5 years old, they will start becoming more intelligent. They'll start understanding, so you can speak to them in such a way that they'll understand why you can't do this, you can't do that. Before that, they may not understand. So you just let them do it. And also because usually at that time, between 2 or 3 years old, they're trying to explore things, they're trying to be independent, they're trying to exercise their independence. So you need to let them grow and feel confident that they can do that. Otherwise, they'll feel restrained and restricted. So it's a good point. It's like one day, you let them do whatever they want. The next day, it's like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Another point is that, like what Devi was saying, behaviors learn with we are going to hit our children, they're going to hit another side. Because so many of our behaviors are learned from our parents and things that we have, things that happen to us, things that we experience as. It's all learned behaviors from our parents.
But if we show the child lots of love and affection from the very beginning, then even if we correct them, they'll know it's coming from love and affection, you see. So it's not like all of a sudden you're going to be horrible with them. They'll understand that, they'll pick it up that, oh, my parents care about me, that's why they're saying this. So if we're already bringing them up with love and affection from the very beginning, then they'll all automatically understand that it's coming from the same affection. You know? So they won't take it in the wrong way.
Also, another interesting thing is the child is a separate person, and so when they're young, you try to mold them how you would like them to be, but it only goes to a certain point. And then at one point, the child would just decide what he wants to do, decide whether he does want to, because when a kid's young, it doesn't really have to follow the regular principles, but once it goes past that age, then it realizes, oh, this is where I'm sacrificing, where I'm giving up. You know, then the child has to consciously make that decision. And there was one man, he was a drunk, and he had two boys, and one of the boys went on to become a world famous neuron surgeon, and the other, his brother, he became a drunken bum. You know, so they interviewed the two of them, and they said to the drunken bum, "Why are you like that?" And he said, "Well, what do you expect with a father like the one I had?" You know. So then they asked the neurosurgeon, "How come you're so successful?" And he said, "What you expect when you have a father like that." So he took it that way. You know, that's such a bad example. I'll never go anywhere near alcohol, and I'll really study and go well. You know, and the other one used that as an excuse. So you could give the best example or the worst example, but ultimately it's the child's choice what he wants to do.
Yes, we have to let the child make up its own choice. But if we give them enough Krishna consciousness in a fun way, and they have like Krishna consciousness threads, then they're very most likely to take to Krishna consciousness anyway, naturally. So we won't have to force them, discipline that way, they'll naturally take to it. So it's important that they have like a community of devotees with children. It's important that the children get on with each other so they can actually help each other, inspire each other to be Krishna conscious. Because the parents, they probably won't listen to parents as much children, you know, as their friends. So the more like the friends will learn them more than the parents will. I'll have to,
Again, the same point, like, you know, at some point we definitely have to say them it's wrong or right things. I don't know one more example, right? So if someone is trying to touch a fire and he doesn't know, you stop him, still he starts to the fire, you against him, thumb, put him, and then you say, okay, go on, and then the fire burn, and then after that he never going to touch the fire. The learning is he did it and burned it and then learned it. So, but the parents, they knew what's wrong and what's right. And sometimes they used to say that. So the kids don't understand it, but eventually we don't want them to be burned and learned as well, right? So both in the place. So you can ask them for sometimes, but you can't see them all the time.
yeah, so you can only give them so much, you know, like what do you call it, instructions. They have to learn from their own mistakes sometimes, you know, and sometimes kids to learn like that.
All the kids.
Like drama queer here. So yeah, so we're going to stop now. Thank you very much for the opportunity for this seminar and discussion. It was very nice. So hopefully we can continue these seminars in the future. So it's helpful for everyone to learn this. And thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Being a parent, how can I stop pressing that panic button at once? And some tips from other parents, because in nowadays the generation is totally
different. Maybe all the modes of the children are the same, similar. So how the other parents, or what do you suggest, how parents can stop pressing the
Take
panic?
association of other parents that have got children and see how they're doing it. You know, we've got many parents here. They may have some tips. I haven't got children, so I'm not the best person to ask. So yeah, so ask the other parents how they're doing it, and then you'll get more idea. Thank you.
That came from when you said the mother hugs